Good morning, everyone. I will now call to order this March 5th, 2026 Clackamas County Board of Commissioners business meeting. County Administrator Gary Schmidt, would you please call the roll for us?
Yes, Chair, thank you. First, our staff support today, County Counsel Billy Williams, Clerk to the Board Andrew Jaraki. Commissioner Savis is out of the office today. Roll call, Commissioner West.
Here.
Commissioner Schrader.
Here.
Commissioner Helm.
Here.
Chair Roberts.
Here. Thank you, Gary. Would you all please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, good morning, everyone. And first up is public communication. Just a reminder, testimony is limited to 3 minutes per person. I ask your comments to be respectful and courteous. As a reminder, you can also email submissions for public communication at bcc@clackamas.us, and they'll be accepted as part of our public record. I'll take in-person testimony first, and I'll turn to our clerk to help us moderate the in-person and virtual testimony for us. Clerk?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a reminder that if you're attending this meeting in person and wish to comment during general public communication about any item that does not have its own specific public hearing on today's agenda, to please fill out a blue card and deposit it in the box that can be found by the center doors. I will read them in the order that they are received. Please come forward, introduce yourself. You'll have 3 minutes. First, Laniel Vandermolen. Laniel Vandermolen, please come forward.
Hello, I live on Stafford Road, and this is about the LUBA appeal that Safe Stafford Road is currently undergoing at LUBA. And as we appeal our attempt to save this scenic byway and our properties from likely devaluation that this massive industrialization of the area will create, I would like to ask the commissioners to respond to the ways that both PGE and your own hearings department have shown subterfuge and avoidance since the beginning of this Tonquin project. Consider the fact that PGE got OPUC commissioners to grant them a waiver to the usual requirement to get land approval before it applied for a CPCN. PGE claimed that the project was urgent to serve the electrical needs of a water plant being built across the street from a substation, but PGE didn't even mention that the treatment plant had been planned for 5 years and had provided for emergency generators already. PGE is also limited to upgrading existing poles, but to get across the Tualatin River, it's got to install new ones. But are those even permitted yet? If not, this whole matter needs to be taken up again for them to get a permit for that. The county hearings officer compounded our problems with PGE, showing his animus when he claimed that clear cutting along Stafford will improve the view, but that's not really his job. His staff also dismissed our concerns about property devaluation by saying it might be a good way to help first-time home buyers to afford to live there, which is also way outside the purview of their office. Both PGE and our county hearings displayed political and personal biases that contradict the stated goals of protecting farmland and the rural scenic resources of the scenic Stafford Byway. Instead, the hearing staff have behaved more like lobbyists for PGE. Throughout this process, people who have seemed helpful to us also keep disappearing, like the administrative law judge who paused the process and was later overruled by the PUC commissioners. Then the PUC removed their primary witness who didn't think that the new Stafford line for the Tonquin project was strictly necessary. So more and more, we're finding ourselves alone in this endeavor to save the Stafford Road Byway. During the last 2 years, no one at the county level has questioned PGE's hard rejection of an alternate route along I-205 and I-5. Strangely, PGE project managers were less resistant at the public hearing in January 2024, and I spoke to them. Several explained that the biggest obstacle would be working with ODOT, not the law. One said that a line would be needed to go down a line would go outside the ODOT right-of-way and would need new easements. Another mentioned that you need a WFH permit or a hardship exemption from ODOT, but it didn't seem impossible that ODOT and PGE could work together, but it seems like they'd rather not. And we're up to, and the PGE's only option from the beginning was to satisfy its own convenience. One of your commissioners even told me that going along the I-205 route would affect the housing on the north side of I-205, but the current plan route would literally hang over some homeowners' lawns along Stafford Road, so it's not a better situation. I can't understand why no one proposed using the largely wooded south side of I-205, except for the personal convenience of all involved in this project. Now, there are things you can do that I think would help us. The Forest Park Luba case has also been paused for mediation. In their case, the city denied the approval for the project. Would that be feasible here? We can't submit any more evidence to Luba, but you could choose to vote for an outside counsel to investigate whether your hearings officer made legal mistakes. The current staff seems too invested in the preference to be objective. The entire Tonquin project revealed how our system is stacked against pro se litigants, and it undermines procedural fairness. Clackamas County could help us by allowing pro se litigants, at least, access to databases to check the accuracy of secondary resources. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Kelly Bartholomew. Kelly Bartholomew, please come forward, introduce yourself. You have 3 minutes.
Hi, Commissioners.
Good morning.
I know you're tired of me being before you, but today I have a little bit different issue that we have talked about before. On February 9th, State Stafford Road attorney submitted a letter of suspected noncompliance with the Stafford Road permit by PGE, and he did not hear back. I contacted the enforcement department. They didn't have a record of the complaint. I contacted the the planning department. They were working on it. Well, it's been a month now. Our hearings officer hasn't heard anything. We haven't heard anything. There seems to be some issues with getting any information about where that stands. So I was hoping to get an update from you guys. The other thing about the permit is that the hearings officer received dozens and dozens of letters about residents fearful of wildfire. And to address that, he imposed condition number 5, which mandated ductile iron poles be used because they withstand high heat and fire better than weathered steel. The poles currently being installed on the north side of Stafford are weathered steel. They are known to, as you have seen in pictures, they are hollow on the inside. They are known to buckle and fail in wildfire. But unfortunately, the hearings officer ruled that within the right-of-way, they have no jurisdiction. So my question is, how can the company comply with the wildfire mitigation requirement while exempting part of the project? That does not seem consistent. And I would like to propose today that the enforcement or planning department institute an investigation into how those two are compatible, because it doesn't seem compatible to me. Are the poles within the right-of-way at less risk of wildfire than those outside? So I would like to propose a motion for you guys to pause everything until that at least is sorted out, because our residents are very afraid of wildfire. So I've printed off what I proposed for a motion and also the pages of the hearings officer's decision, which mandates the ductile iron poles, number 5. Thank you.
Next, Mitchell Duig. Mitchell Duig. Apologies if I've mispronounced your name. Please come forward and introduce yourself, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Chair Roberts, members of the board, I know you have a full agenda, so thank you for hearing me today. My name is Mitchell Doig. I'm a resident of Oregon City, a lifelong resident of Oregon, a state-credentialed substance use counselor, and a nationally recognized expert on substance use policy and evidence-based practice implementation. Today, I'm here in opposition to any further work on a local ordinance or drafting of model policy that mirrors the intent or purpose of Senate Bill 1573. On February 17th, Commissioner West expressed his disappointment about the bill's failure and expressed a desire to spend the board's time localizing this policy. While the county submitted testimony in opposition requesting 3 clear amendments and noted syringe programs serve individuals with a broad range of health conditions, Commissioner West described this opposition letter as complicated and nuanced, adding that he would speak further with members of this board offline. This concerns me deeply. Just like the opposition letter, the research on syringe service programs is not complicated. These services are designed to be used for a variety of health conditions, and efforts to restrict access to them result in greater financial costs and impacts to public health. While the county opposition suggested there is value in some form of restriction, I'm here to illustrate the value of these programs to the county itself and discourage such efforts. An ordinance like this would limit access to programs that have had the single greatest impact on hepatitis C and HIV compared to any other intervention, having been estimated to reduce HIV transmission by 50%, hepatitis C transmission by 79%. It's estimated that the average SSP demonstrates its full return on investment to the community if it prevents only 3 HIV infections, while other studies have shown that even short disruptions in access to these services result in dozens of new infections, with longer disruptions reaching the definition of an outbreak. These services have added benefits for people who do use substances, though. They are 3 times more likely to reduce or stop their use and 60% more likely to remain in treatment simply by having access to this life-saving, life-affirming, and cost-saving evidence-based practice. Research also shows that SSPs do not increase crime or concentrate drug use, and most operate with a 1-to-1 exchange rate, meaning their presence is not directly contributing to needles found in public spaces. While it is true similar policy exists elsewhere, it is also worth noting that these citing restrictions on syringe programs have recently been found to be in violation of the American Disability Act. Moving ahead with this disregards 30 years of research by groups ranging from the CDC to the Department of Veterans Affairs, risking the health of citizens of Clackamas County, leading to greater financial and human costs to our community, as any penny spent on this is a penny that could be spent on youth prevention programs or could save a life. I am requesting that the board take 5 actions. Stop directing the county staff to pursue this ordinance, which uses precious tax dollars. Avoid exposing the county to ADA litigation. Recognize that this policy contradicts the county's own stated goals of achieving a recovery-oriented system of care by limiting access to services that are a crucial link to the treatment and recovery continuum. Reprioritize your efforts here instead to invest energy and funding towards prevention and treatment services that have had a demonstrated impact on improving health outcomes. And finally, I am requesting that any conversations discussing this proposed policy outside of public meetings, as was referenced, to occur following the meeting on February 17th, be entered into the public record to ensure Clackamas citizens are aware of the details influencing the decisions of its elected officials. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Lori Kimmel. Please come forward and introduce yourself, and you'll have 3 minutes.
My name is, my name is Lori Kimmel. I'm a veteran, and I'm here to discuss, in short, right now about veteran suicide. Right now, the plan came out, the 2025 National Veteran Suicide Prevention Annual Report came out, and it kind of was disheartening to see how many veteran suicides. What I'm asking you as elected officials is to have more conversations about suicide prevention. And it's the responsibility of every community member, every family member, every elected official. One good thing that came out in the suicide report was that since the employment of the 988+1 suicide prevention number, suicides have gone down. But that's just a small amount. And to understand the unique drivers of veteran suicide risk and to help direct early intervention, prevention, and outreach efforts. There are many targeted facts. 52.3% had documented pain issues. 51.5% sleep problems, 43.1% increased health problems, 34.8% decline in physical activity, and 31.9% relationship problems. These are all interconnected because if the veteran has pain, they can't sleep. If they can't sleep, they can't work. And it's a vicious chain. What I'm asking is please have more conversations about how to prevent veteran suicide, not just have everything in the month of September. Please have more conversations because a lot of these veterans who I worked with at the sheriff's office when I was a deputy, they had my back, and I could see some of them go downhill so fast. But I'm asking, just have more conversations about it and not just have a conversation about it in the month of September. Because that's National Suicide Prevention. But just please have more conversations, even if it's at home. But a lot of times the family members, they don't see the signs. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is a final call if you're attending this meeting in person and wish to comment on any item that does not have its own specific public hearing and have not yet commented today. Please fill out a blue card and deposit in the box that can be found by the center doors. Mr. Chair, I see no other members of the public physically present who wish to comment during general public communication. With your assent, I'll move to those attending virtually. If you're attending this meeting virtually and would like to comment during general public communication, this is your opportunity to please raise your hand. I will call on you in the order that I see. Mr. Ed Wagner, I see your hand first. I'll mute you. You'll have 3 minutes. Mr. Wagner, I see that you are unmuted. If you would please speak, we should be able to hear you. Mr. Wagner, if you're speaking, I'm afraid we can't hear you right now. Mr. Wagner appears to be having technical difficulties, Mr. Chair. With your approval, I'll move on. If there's anyone else attending this meeting virtually who would like to comment, this is your opportunity to please raise your hand. Mr. Cook, I'll unmute you. You'll have 3 minutes.
Good morning. We missed you all in February. Cupid wanted to take his shots at CPOs and Hammett volunteers. New Year's resolutions were not forgot. Valentine's Day flowers and candy, along with Cupid's thoughts. Many volunteers enjoyed them. They really hit the spot. Stafford's volunteer is a fun one. Picks up trash on local roads. Her name is Janet Runyon. She keeps things clean near neighboring abodes. Beaver Creek's Hammett volunteer, hard worker yet again. Cindy Hilliard takes on media posts, the best it's ever been. Boring's Pamela Burback is now ready to take Kenny Cernick's C4 spot. A long-time CPO advocate, her leadership's ready to help C4 a lot. Pat Erdenbergers and Derek Cherico, CPO and Hamlet's new C4 alternate mates, and Mark Hilliard, longtime Hamlet volunteer, new C4 executive board, he'll be so great. And then there's Malala's Jim Gilbert, leading the area's CPO members, hoping to be back soon at full strength this spring, or surely by September. So there you have February's volunteers. Cupid's Valentine's arrow hit the spots. We'll march back soon to spring on you. County volunteers at CPOs and Hamlet's cream of the crop. And here's a little ditty from a couple years ago to add to citizen comments and complete my little show. I-205 and affordable housing pressure issues flooding land speculators cup. Residents concerned about PGE's ability on how to safely power the region up. Vineyards, farms, active agriculture, what our Stafford character is about. Power lines should be underground, not overhead, to bail PGE's budget out. Overhead brings lots of baggage with it. Underground is safer but more expensive. Our views, the trees, why we moved here. New transmission lines, we are also apprehensive. So now it's time to ponder, is it lines or is it wine? The Stafford residents will live with, watching property values decline. If development in the area can bore sewers under Pecan Creek, our expectations bury lines 6 feet underground in Stafford utilities, hide and seek. Kerosene lamps and wooden stoves could be making a comeback if PGE County and residents can't concur on the ZDO attack. Coming soon, how will the area shine? Will it be Pinot Gris or maybe Pinot Noir? Or will lines of PGE prevail and win the towers and above ground power lines war? Thanks, and we'll see you again in a couple weeks.
Thank you, Mr. Cook. Mr. Wagner, returning to you, I see your hand is raised. I will ask you to unmute and allow you to attempt to speak again.
Did it work this time?
Yes, we can hear you. Please proceed.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning, board. Good morning, Mr. Smith. I'm Ed Wagner. I live on Stafford Road. And as most of you know, I'm the primary communicator to all of our homeowners. And I have to tell you that after seeing the clear cut and the industrial poles that have gone up on the north section of Stafford, I've had so many comments of people being furious, but mostly scared. I wanted to make a reference to something Linnell Vandermolen made. She commented that the hearing officer made very insensitive comments about clear cutting trees to open up the views, and also the issue about property values going down that would help more people be able to afford property. Those were parroted by the hearing officer, but they were generated from the original recommendation from the county to the hearing officer. I have intimated to the board before how I feel these comments suggest a strong bias towards approving this permit. And basically the hearing officer just parroted everything the county threw up. I know that Ms. Bartholomew this morning has asked for a more comprehensive evaluation of the iron ductile poles. We would sincerely appreciate that. We also don't understand, after almost a month of an issue regarding non-compliance, we still can't get any information. So lastly, I'd like to say that we have appreciated the interchange we've had with the board and with the county administrator. I would hope that we will have more opportunity to get some sense as to what the board is feeling, and are there any issues that can help us mediate or be involved. As I've mentioned many times through the 2.5 years, PG has never once allowed us to sit down and even discuss any alternatives or compromises. This has been a very opaque process. The transparency has never been available to our public. And we're at the 11th hour and the 59th minute. Once they start clear cutting the south side of Stafford Road, it'll forever be over. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Wagner. This is a final call if you're attending this meeting virtually and have not yet spoken and wish to do so, to please raise your hand. Mr. Chair, I see no other members of the public, either physically or virtually present, who wish to speak during general public communication today.
All right, thank you, Andrew. I will now close the public communication portion. While doing so, I wanted to turn to Gary, and I know you've done a little bit of research and have some comments on a couple matters.
Yes, thank you, Chair. So this is regarding the Portland General Electric Stafford area transmission lines. And thank you to Ms. Bartholomew and Mr. Wagner. I did meet with them a few weeks ago, as you requested, after your last business meeting, and they sent me further information. And thank you to you both. We did receive the emails you sent to me and the board, and they saw them before today's meeting. I can give you a quick update verbally, and I will respond by email as well to you, Ms. Bartholomew and Mr. Wagner. So regarding the email you sent asking questions about the letter from Stave Stafford Road. So I am acknowledging publicly the county did receive your letter of February 9th from Stave Stafford Road with concerns about PGE and potential violations of certain conditions of the land use approval, including the condition that poles be made of ductile iron. The county staff are currently investigating these allegations and will follow the normal code enforcement process with regard to reviewing this matter. So the staff will do that, and then we'll report back to you after that has been completed. Also, there was a question about the context of the conditional use permit. The Zoning and Development Ordinance, or ZDO, does give authority to a land use hearings officer the authority to consider all these issues. So this is an independent contractor, the hearings officer. It is not a county employee. So the hearings officer is delegated these reviews, not the Board of County Commissioners, per your current ZDO, per your current ordinance. So because this matter is now before LUBA, the Land Use Board of Appeals, they are reviewing appeal of the actions of the hearings officer. If LUBA determines the hearings officer erred, then the decision of the hearings officer will be reversed or remanded. I know you all know that, but just wanted to clarify, this is the process in your ordinance. So you can't, unless you want to openly violate your ordinance, which you don't do, this is the process to follow regarding that. Secondly, there were several legal questions that were asked. And because this is potential litigation, Commissioners, you discussed this in executive session. That is an allowable use of executive session by Oregon law to discuss potential litigation. So really from this point forward, myself and Bill, your attorney, are recommending you should not discuss potential litigation publicly. That is something for you to discuss in executive session. So I'm afraid we can't comment on that publicly further on the legal questions. Regarding the potential motion that Ms. Bartholomew distributed today and you received by email, again, staff's recommendation is it violates your ZDO if you suspend the permit process. Again, frankly, you have authority to overrule your own ZDOs, but that puts you in a very, very bad precedent. If you are violating your own ordinances, you should change the ordinance first if that's something you want to do, but that takes time. But per the current ordinance, you do not have the ability of the board to suspend the permitting process. So not the answers I think the public wants to hear, but that is your staff comment on those answers. Again, I'll email you, Ms. Bartholomew and Mr. Wagner, all of this so you have it in writing, but that's the update I wanted to share on those concerns you heard today.
All right, thank you. At this point, I'll recess as the Board of County Commissioners and convene as Housing Authority Board, and turn to you as what's next, Gary.
Thank you. You're now meeting as the Housing Authority Board of Clackamas County. Joining you online is Resident Housing Commissioner Ann Leenstra. Good morning, Commissioner Leenstra.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here. This is a public hearing for the Housing Authority, public hearing for the 2026 Annual Public Housing Authority Plan and Moving to Work Supplement. There are no county general funds involved. Presenting today is Mary Rumbaugh, Director of Health, Housing, and Human Services, and Shannon Callahan, Executive Director of the Housing Authority of Clackamas County. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Chair Roberts, Commissioners. So the Housing Authority of Clackamas County is required to hold a public hearing to review its draft annual public housing plan and moving to work supplement. This year's plan does cover the Housing Authority's fiscal year from July 2026 through June 2027. Here with me is Shannon Callahan, the Housing Authority Executive Director, who's going to give a high overview of the draft annual plan and some of the next steps.
Good morning, Chair and Commissioners. As you heard, this Tuesday is an introduction to this hearing. and Mary indicated, this is our annual plan that we are required to submit each year to HUD, Housing and Urban Development. This plan describes our new activities, as well as we are required as a moving to work designated agency to explain how we intend to use any flexibility granted to us by our moving to work designation, and specifically any waivers that we will be seeking. This year, we seek 3 new waivers, all of which our goal is to increase administrative efficiencies and as well as improve our service to the community. Those 3 new waivers are related to asset verification, interim reexaminations, and inspections. After we hold this public hearing, we will take comments and continue to take comments until March 15th. We will then review all of the comments that are submitted today at this public hearing or throughout the process until March 14th. Bring you back a final version of our annual plan no later than the late March or early April, and then we are required to submit that plan to HUD by April 17th of this year. So that's really a high-level overview of the plan, and I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Colleagues, any questions? All right, it doesn't look like there's any questions. And at this point, we will now open the public hearing on this item, and I'll turn to our clerk to help moderate that for us.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If you're attending this meeting in person, wish to comment on this specific item only, this is your opportunity to please fill out a blue card and deposit it in the box that can be found by the center doors. Mr. Chair, seeing no members of the public physically present wish to comment on this item, I'll now turn with your assent to those attending virtually. If you're attending this meeting virtually and wish to comment on this specific item, this is your opportunity to please raise your hand. Mr. Chair, I see no other members of the public, either physically or virtually present, wish to comment on this specific item today.
All right, thank you, Andrew. I'll now close the public hearing portion. This item will return for our final approval at a later business meeting. So I'll adjourn as the Housing Authority Board and reconvene as the Board of County Commissioners. Gary, what's next for us?
Thank you, and thank you, Commissioner Leenstra, for joining us today. Next is a public hearing for the Board of County Commissioners, approval of a supplemental budget resolution for fiscal year 2025-2026. Fiscal impact is a net increase in appropriations of $1,797,361. Funding is through beginning fund balance, other revenue sources, intra-fund transfers, and other revenue from auction proceeds. Transfers do include $566,404 of county general funds. Elizabeth Comfort, Finance Director, will present. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Administrator Schmidt, and good morning, Chair and Commissioners. Yes, before you is a public hearing because we are adjusting our adopted budget. This is the adjustment for Q3 that we do. And according to Oregon budget law found in ORS 294, we require a supplemental resolution before a fund or department exceeds its budgeting spending limits. Today, as Administrator Schmidt said, we're asking for an adjustment of approximately $1.8 million to 4 funds in over 5 items. The first one is the District Attorney's Office. They want to recognize a grant for approximately $97,000, and so we'll increase the revenue and accordingly increase the spending authority in their operating expenses and special payments. The second item is in a special fund. It's the Inmate Welfare Special Fund, recognizing $152,216 in their beginning fund balance. And so that revenue will offset the addition of the increasing spending authority in operating expenses. Third item is the Department of Transportation and Development within the Property Resources Fund. They're going to reduce the contingency by $458,516 to transfer it to a program, the Tax Title Land Program, as part of a settlement payment. Item 4 is part of that transaction, the same Tax Title Land Program in the Property Resources Fund, increasing the budget in total for a tax settlement payment of $2,466,404 in operating expense. The revenue for that comes from multiple sources. One is own funding of just over $1 million from contingency, $528,731 from additional auction proceeds they're going to recognize, and then the above transfer from Department of Transportation Development of $458,516. And then we had an earlier general fund transfer to this program of $466,404 in the previous supplemental budget. That has already been approved in the resolution from last quarter. The final item is from Technology Services, recognizing their additional beginning fund balance of $94,835 to increase the operating expense for an increase in the Oracle PeopleSoft contract. That amendment was approved last month by the commissions here. And that concludes the transfer and changes to the budget. Happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you, Elizabeth. Any of my colleagues have any questions on that matter?
Just, will this be reflected on our page that we get?
No, because it is not drawing from your contingency.
Okay, so this remains the same. Okay, that's good to know. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I'll now open the public hearing portion on this item. So I'll turn to our clerk once again, if you can moderate that for us.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Once again, I'm now asking the public if you'd like to comment on this specific item to please fill out a blue card and deposit in the box that can be found by the center doors. Mr. Chair, seeing no members of the public physically present wish to comment on this specific item, with your assent, I'll turn to those who are attending virtually. If you're attending this meeting virtually and wish to comment on this specific item, this is your opportunity to please raise your hand. Mr. Chair, I see no members of the public either physically or virtually present today wish to comment on this specific item.
All right, thank you. So I'll now close the public hearing portion of this and see if there are any other questions from my colleagues. I don't see any other. So may I have a motion?
Chair, I move we approve this supplemental budget resolution.
I'll second that.
All right, Commissioner Helm has moved to approve the supplemental budget resolution. Commissioner Schrader has seconded that. Any further discussion? Seeing none, clerk, would you please call the poll?
Commissioner West.
Aye.
Commissioner Schrader.
Aye.
Commissioner Helm.
Aye.
Mr. Chair.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Gary, what's next?
Thank you. Next is the consent agenda for the Board of County Commissioners. Andrew, would you please read the consent agenda?
Consent agenda for the Board of County Commissioners. Item A, elected officials. 1, approval of previous business meeting minutes for the Board of County Commissioners. 2, approval of a grant acceptance from the Oregon Criminal Justice Commission for the Behavioral Health Deflection Program Phase 2 funds. Grant value is $1,283,630 for 21 months. Funding is the Oregon Criminal Justice Commission. No county general funds are involved. 3, approval of a subrecipient agreement with Clackamas Women's Services for linguistically and culturally responsive victim services through Clackamas Women's Services. Agreement value is $105,030 for 1 year. Funding is the Oregon Criminal Justice Commission Justice Reinvestment Program. No county general funds are involved. 4, approval of an amendment to an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Milwaukee for reimbursement of retail crime investigation expenses. Amendment value is $51,000 for 1 year. Total agreement value is $99,000 for 2 years. Funding is the Oregon Criminal Justice Commission. No county general funds are involved. 5, approval of an amendment to an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Molalla for reimbursement of retail crime investigation expenses. Amendment value is $17,000 for 1 year. Total agreement value is $24,500 for 2 years. Funding is the Oregon Criminal Justice Commission. No county general funds are involved. 6, approval of an amendment to an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Oregon City for reimbursement of retail crime investigation expenses. Amendment value is $133,000 for 1 year. Total agreement value is $158,000 for 2 years. Funding is the Oregon Criminal Justice Commission. No county general funds are involved. 7, approval of an amendment to an intergovernmental agreement with the City of West Lynn for reimbursement of retail crime investigation expenses. Amendment value is $59,000 for 1 year. Total agreement value is $69,000 for 2 years. Funding to the Oregon Criminal Justice Commission. No county general funds are involved. 8, approval of an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Sandy for reimbursement of retail crime investigation expenses. Agreement value is $19,000 for 1 year. Funding is the Oregon Criminal Justice Commission. No county general funds are involved. B, juvenile. 1, approval of an intergovernmental agreement with Marion County for court-ordered youth short-term residential services. Agreement value is approximately $200,000 for 18 months. Funding is the Oregon Department of Human Services, Oregon Health Authority, and approximately $74,000 of budgeted county general funds. C, transportation and development. 1, approval of sale documents for 19 properties sold at the December 18th, 2025 surplus property auction. Total gross sale proceeds is $359,845.39. Funding is through purchasers. No county general funds are involved. 2, approval of a goods and services contract with K&L Industries for chip rock supply and hauling. Contract value is $184,500 for 4 months. Funding is the County Road Fund. No county general funds are involved. 3, approval of a goods and services contract with North Santiam Paving Company for chip rock supply and hauling. Contract value is $227,500 for 4 months. Funding is the County Road Fund. No county general funds are involved. D, Health, Housing, Human Services. 1, approval of an intergovernmental agreement with the Oregon Department of Human Services for personal money management services to seniors and people with disabilities. Agreement value is $950,000 for 2 years. Funding is the Oregon Department of Human Services and $110,000 of budgeted county general funds. 2, approval of an amendment to a personal services contract with the Father's Heart Street Ministry for Tukwila Springs Resident Services. Amendment value is $239,731.25 for 6 months. Total contract value is $540,659.25 for 2 years. Funding is to the Metro Supportive Housing Services Measure funds. No county general funds are involved. 3, approval of personal services contract with the Peer Company for households at risk of housing instability due to mental health and substance use. Contract value is $238,868.60 for 2 years. Funding is through Metro Supportive Housing Services Measure funds. No county general funds are involved. 4, approval of an amendment to a subrecipient agreement with Ant Farm from Malala Resource Center Building Improvements. Amendment value is $653,874.80 for 6 months. Total agreement value is $1,420,524.80 for 18 months. Funding is through Oregon House Bill 5202 funds. No county general funds are involved. 5, approval of subrecipient grant agreement with Ant Farm for Estacada Resource Center property acquisition and construction. Agreement value is $1,189,789.80 for 17 months. Funding is through Oregon Housing and Community Services. No county general funds are involved. 6, approval of an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Lake Oswego for paramedic response times. Agreement value is $652,037.95 for 10 years. Funding is the American Medical Rescue Ambulance Agreements Cost Savings Provision. No county general funds are involved. 7, approval of an amendment to an intergovernmental agreement with the Oregon Health Authority for Behavioral Health Workforce Initiative Program funds. Amendment updates language only. Agreement value remains $381,250 for 38 months. Funding is the Oregon Health Authority. No county general funds are involved. 8, approval of an amendment to an intergovernmental agreement with the Oregon Health Authority for governance and implementation of public health programs. Amendment value is $106,349 for 1 year. Total agreement value is $6,537,711.61 for 2 years. Funding is the Oregon Health Authority. No county general funds are involved. 9, approval of a grant renewal application to the United States Department of Labor for Homeless Veterans Reintegration Program. Grant value is up to $1,500,000 for 3 years. Funding is the United States Department of Labor. No county general funds are involved. Mr. Chair, that concludes the Board of Commissioners' consent agenda.
Thank you, Andrew. Any colleagues wish to remove anything? Seeing no on that issue, may I have a motion?
Chair, I move that we approve the consent agenda as read. Hold on. Am I on?
Yeah.
Chair, I move that we approve the consent agenda as read.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Second.
All right, Commissioner West has moved to approve the consent agenda as read. Commissioner Schrader has seconded that. Any further discussion? Seeing none, clerk, would you please call the poll?
Commissioner Helm.
Aye.
Commissioner Schrader.
Aye.
Commissioner West.
Aye.
Mr. Chair.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Andrew. I'll now recess as the Board of County Commissioners, convene as the North Clackamas Parks and Recreation District Board of Directors, and I'll turn to Gary. What do you have for us?
Thank you. Next is the consent agenda for the North Clackamas Parks and Recreation District. Andrew, would you please read the consent agenda?
North Clackamas Parks and Recreation District Board of Directors consent agenda. Item A, approval of a services agreement with Ride Connection for reimbursement of Milwaukee Community Center Transportation Program bus maintenance costs. Agreement value is $7,000 for 1 year. Funding is the Oregon Department of Transportation. No county general funds are involved. Mr. Chair, that concludes the North Clackamas Parks and Recreation District Board of Directors consent agenda.
All right, thank you. Any directors wish to remove anything from the consent agenda? Seeing none, I'll turn to you. And do we have a motion by someone?
Chair, I move we approve the NCPRD consent agenda.
Second.
All right, Director Helm has moved to approve the North Clackamas Parks Rec District consent agenda. Director Schrader has seconded that. Any further discussion? Seeing none, clerk, would you please call the poll?
Director West.
Aye.
Director Schrader.
Aye.
Director Helm.
Aye.
Mr. Chair.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0, Mr. Chair.
Thank you again, Andrew. I'll now adjourn as the North Clackamas Parks and Recreation District Board of Directors, convene as the Water and Environment Services Board of Directors. Gary?
Thank you. Next is the consent agenda for Water Environment Services. Andrew, would you please read the consent agenda?
Water Environment Services Board of Directors consent agenda. Item A, approval of a contract with Creative Contracting for construction of the Kellogg Creek Water Resource Recovery Facility Administration Building. Contract value is $2,966,175.15 for 10 months. Funding is through Water Environment Services Sanitary Sewer Construction Funds. No county general funds are involved. B, approval of a contract amendment with Parametrics for construction consulting services at the Three Creeks Floodplain Enhancement Project. Amendment value is $149,786.64 for 1 year. Total contract value is $1,818,651.86 for 7 years. Funding is through Water Environment Services Surface Water Construction Funds. No county general funds are involved. C, approval of an amendment to an intergovernmental agreement with the cities of Gladstone, Johnson City, Milwaukee, Oregon City, and West Lynn for regional sewer pipe cost allocation. Amendment is administrative changes only and has no fiscal impact or change of duration. No county general funds are involved. D, approval of an amendment to a contract with Braun Construction and Design for landscape requests to meet property owner requests at the Upper Kellogg Creek restoration projects. Amendment value is $325,483.18 and no time increase. Total contract value is $2,443,039.17 for 2 years. Funding is through Water Environment Services Surface Water Construction Funds. No county general funds are involved. Mr. Chair, that concludes the Water Environment Services Board of Directors consent agenda.
Thank you, Andrew. Do any directors wish to remove any item on the consent agenda? Seeing none, I'll ask for a motion, please.
I move we approve the Water and Environment Services consent agenda as read.
Second.
All right. Director Schrader has moved to approve the West consent agenda as read. Director Helm has seconded that. Any further discussion? Seeing none, clerk, would you please call the poll?
Director West.
Aye.
Director Helm.
Aye.
Director Schrader.
Aye.
Mr. Chair.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. I'll adjourn as the Water and Environment Services Board of Directors and reconvene as the Board of County Commissioners, and I'll turn to Gary.
Thank you. Next is County Administrator Update. That is me. I'd like to recognize our county employees during this time. And today I want to share a really powerful story with you about the Clackamas County Child Abuse Multidisciplinary Team. This is a program of Clackamas County and includes county staff and departments and community leaders. Recently, one of the members of this team from externally, the Children's Center, wrote a note about our staff, and I'd like to read that to you. On behalf of the Clackamas County Child Abuse Multidisciplinary Team and the Child Fatality Review Team, I would like to extend our highest recognition and deepest gratitude to Nurse Home Visiting Supervisor Cassie Stewart McCarthy, she's a county employee, and her outstanding team for their diligent and impactful work across Clackamas County to prevent sleep-related infant deaths in our community. Cassie and her team have worked tirelessly to promote safe sleep practices for infants through direct caregiver education, community outreach, public service announcements, and collaborative partnerships with the District Attorney's Office, Oregon Department of Human Services, and the Child Abuse Multidisciplinary Team, Clackamas Emergency Services, and more. It gives me great pride to share that this unwavering dedication is producing real, measurable results. Thanks to the hard work and commitment of Cassie and her team, we have seen a remarkable decrease in the number of infant fatalities related to unsafe sleep environments. In the years prior to 2025, Clackamas County experienced between 4 and 6 infant deaths every year directly related to unsafe sleeping conditions. In calendar year 2025 and currently through 2026, only 1 infant has passed away due to sleep conditions. Still one too many, but a tremendous decrease over that time. These numbers make one thing abundantly clear. Cassie Stewart McCarthy and her team are literally saving lives. Their compassion, persistence, and commitment have made a profound difference for some of the most vulnerable members of our community, and for that we are deeply grateful. That is the end of the note. So commissioners, I want to recognize Cassie and our team here at the county that do this work, and multiple county departments that participate on this team, which include the Sheriff's Office, District Attorney's Office, Health, Housing, and Human Services, and the Juvenile Department. And Chair Roberts, I believe you were essential in creating this team back when you were sheriff, and it is still producing incredible work for our community. So thank you, Chair. Thank you to our staff that helped make this incredible impact to our community. That is my update for today. Thank you, Commissioners.
All right, thank you, Gary. So now it's time for Commissioner communication, and I'll start with Commissioner Schrader.
Well, I'm delighted to say that working with Nancy Bush and Clackamas Community College and OSU 4-H Extension, the plans for having a cohabited building on the campus are going beautifully. Yesterday, they showed us the schematics of what the building could look like, and it's going to give an incredible boost. I think they're calling it their natural resources area, not only to their horticulture program and greenhouses and their organic farming, which actually OSU helps run that program on how to farm organically. I think it's going to allow us to have much better presence for Oregon State University, and I'm hopeful that that co-location will encourage two-year students who get an associate's degree in biology, horticulture, other things, can have an opportunity to move on to OSU as well. And I also think that it will be wonderful for the environmental education program that is located on that campus to continue to work with Extension in order to really increase and in value and presence, environmental education, which is one of my original things that I had thought I was going to start out to do in my life and ended up here, so go figure. And also our pollination garden plans are going, Diana, Commissioner Helm and I have been working on that, are going to be going very well. I believe in all things pollination. My specialty area was bees at the time, and I studied, I was a pollination ecologist. And so finally, with all the hard work that we've done, I'm hopeful we will be a pollination campus. And I'm going to remind people that most of the bees that are pollinators are stingless. Okay, everybody immediately thinks of honeybees. Honeybees are non-native. Okay, they've been cultivated. They came from Europe. All right, and but most of the species that we have, you'll be helping those early spring pollinators and other pollinators throughout the system. And one of the stingless ones I always have are mason bees. I think, Diana, you used to sell mason bee houses, right, when you had your store?
I have a hotel at my
Have a
house.
hotel, yeah, you have mason bee hotel. They're perfectly harmless, they're stingless, and they are really important for our food sheds in the long term. So that's been great. The other thing I want to mention is that tomorrow actually this afternoon is going to be all things workforce. I'll be working with Clackamas Workforce Partnership as well as the folks up north with their workforce board, and then the folks down south as well. So I'm talking to all three workforce boards today. There's been talk of further collaboration with one another as we wait and see how the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act dollars come down funding through Congress, that funding stream. If it is cut in significantly, there's a possibility that we may either merge with one or the other or not. But those are the discussions that are happening, and that is largely due, I said, because of funding streams and that have been happening in the workforce world. Other than that, I know that I'm going to the Workforce Talent and Development Board. I'll be going to their meeting on Friday morning. And that is the group that advised the Higher Education Coordinating Committee and the governor about workforce outcomes and workforce policies. So that's my week. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner West.
Thank you, Chair. I'm going to take my time to address some of the concerns brought up by the constituent earlier during public comment. I appreciate the individual coming to share his thoughts and concerns, though I do disagree with him. I believe he reached out anonymously on my X account, but I don't usually respond to public county issues in that way, but I'm glad that he's able to come and testify today. I encourage anybody who wants to comment on this issue, please send me an email through my public email at benwest@clackamas.us, and I'll try to be responsive to you through that avenue. He brought up some issues around ADA and the ruling in Washington. I think some of that is a little bit disingenuous, and I kind of dismissed that argument that was put forth in the Washington courts. It was Gather Church versus Lewis County, but it doesn't at all prevent Oregon counties from putting forward an ordinance to address this issue of needle exchanging in their own communities at all. It's not binding to Oregon. It was a settlement in another state, so it's not legally binding in Oregon on that issue. And that the ADA concern was not flagged by the Legislative Council at all when they put forward Senate Bill 1573 during the bill's drafting. We are inspired somewhat by that bill and its overwhelming support from constituents, but looking to do that at a local level. And so it is, but it wasn't flagged by legal counsel in Salem. And it was a little bit of a business decision or settlement made by two parties rather than drafting a legal ruling that Oregon is required to follow. But this really comes down to common sense versus really an extreme ideology. We have to balance the well-being of all of our residents, including children, who have the right to go and walk to school without having to worry about biohazards. We also want to make sure people get the care that they do need when they're dealing with addiction and other issues. And I think that is a little bit of a slippery slope argument and a little bit of alarmism to say just because we have buffer zones around daycares and schools that we're going to have an explosion of communicable diseases. I don't think there's a lot of evidence from that. I think we can balance both safe communities for children and making sure that we're mitigating and dealing with public health issues. And so I think that criticism lacks a little bit of good faith in what we're trying to do here. Also, I want to be very clear. I brought this forward in a public meeting to have public discussion about it before our constituents. There have been no deliberations in a majority of the quorum anywhere on this issue at any time. Please feel free to do a public records request if you could think that there is evidence out there that anything has been done. It has not. I have and will continue to collaborate with county commissioners across the state of Oregon who are somewhat clamoring to respond to this issue in their own communities, so don't expect Clackamas County to be the only one that acts to deal with this. And I respect my board and my colleagues to move forward in this in a way that's common sense and practical, that will hold up to any legal challenges while respecting the need for care for individuals and also for families and children to have a safe community to live in. I, as a nurse, have seen firsthand, not just in the community, but also in practice, how this impacts neighborhoods and other vulnerable populations. But we have a moral responsibility to Clackamas County as a whole, and we need to do bold and innovative things to do good local governments. I believe that this ordinance will do that as we explore it moving forward, and there will be more public conversations regarding needle exchanges and how to balance that in Clackamas County. I think the board was clear on its direction to want to explore this issue. If you would like to have conversations with me further, opposed or for this effort that this board will be engaging in, please feel free to reach out to me or this board through public channels. We will have those conversations openly and transparently. And I look forward to having this conversation moving forward. Chair, I yield back.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Hill.
Not a lot. Not a lot has happened since Tuesday, except for a lot of meetings. I'm going out to Malala this evening for the C4 meeting, and we'll report back on that next week. Other than that, I will yield back as well.
Okay. Hey, just a correction for the record, Gary. I didn't start the MDT multidisciplinary team. It has been around for some time. I was a member of the multidisciplinary team, and during that time, I think we created the child fatality review as a group. It's not any one individual. And I just want to comment that it's really heartfelt to me to hear that they're going out and doing that education, because I can just tell you of having some of those cases where a mom accidentally caused the death of her child is so detrimental for a life-lasting impact on their entire family that when it really is something that's educational. And so thank you for bringing that forward, and my thanks to all the members on the MDT and the Child Fatality Review for the difficult work you do. Yesterday, I had the opportunity with Kim DeSantis and myself to visit Blooming Boutique, and I think you're going to go there. And you have been there, right? And so this is a shout out. I mean, I think what I get so impressed with is, oh my gosh, there are so many wonderful nonprofits that we couldn't do all that we do without all these nonprofits. And so I really can't thank them enough. And I just want to tell you about this young lady, Patty Sears. She invited me to come visit Bloomin' Boutique. It's right here in Oregon City. They operate a referral-based, providing brand new clothes and accessories to children from birth through high school. They're 100% volunteer run. Last year, they assembled 1,641 care packages, and over 70% of those went to kids in Clackamas County. They actually help kids in Washington and Multnomah County on top of just our county. The requests for supplies continue to grow. I will tell you, they take advantage of every square inch. Another nonprofit that could use a bigger building. And perhaps that's a conversation we can have and look at grant and other fundings that come down the road that might be applicable. So Patty can always use help, and from volunteers to donations. And their phone number there is 503-320-0789. And they're, interesting enough, their board of chair is Joanne Hazel. Her husband was a doctor in Oregon City for years and years, has unfortunately since passed, but she's kind of carried on his legacy and helping in that effort. The next quick thing I wanted to make an announcement, and this is actually my thanks to really my two colleagues on each side of me, and March 8th is International Women's Day. And I want to just show a quick facts about women in our workforce. And women now make up almost half of the United States labor force. In Oregon, women are almost half of the workforce, but they earn just 69 cents for every dollar earned by men. And it's still. So I want you to know Clackamas is doing what we can to support women in the workplace. One of the board's strategic goals is to look at developing strategies that retain, expand, and recruit new childcare opportunities. We're also conduct a pay equity analysis under the Equal Pay Act to adjust wages based on experience and seniority. And we've made progress, but we have a long ways to go. And just a thanks to my two colleagues here for all they do in public service over the years. And my last comment, and Lori Kimmel, who presented here today about veteran suicide, and I want to publicly thank her for coming. She's been here before, and I so much believe in what she has to say about continuing to have the conversation about suicide and suicide prevention. And I was real involved with Lions for Life. Dwight Holcomb was the director there. It's a 988 phone number to call. And I would encourage those that are struggling in one way or another, that they have veterans on the other end of that phone line. And so you're talking to another vet. So please reach out. And with that, I just want to take a moment to recognize, and I know this is kind of national news, and I don't really talk about that a lot, but about the soldiers killed in Kuwait, which is also, and many of you know, the Pentagon released the names of 6 U.S. Army Reserve soldiers who lost their lives. Their names are Cody Cork, 35, out of Florida, Sergeant First Class Noah Tidgens, 42, out of Bellevue, Nebraska. Sergeant First Class Nicole Armour, 39, out of White Bear Lake, Minnesota. Sergeant Deacon Cody, 20, out of West Des Moines, Iowa. And Major Jeffrey O'Brien, 45, out of Iowa. And all 6 soldiers were assigned to the 103rd Sustainment Command, a U.S. Army Reserve unit based in Des Moines, Iowa. And I'll ask us to pause for a moment, recognize and honor these brave soldiers who gave their lives serving our country. I think it's also incredibly important for us to remember the many lives of others, both past and present, that have made that sacrifice. And I just think it's incumbent upon us to all never forget the sacrifices that so many people make to keep our country the way it is. So to their family, friends, and fellow service members, I want to extend as a board our deepest condolences and gratitudes. And I want to publicly thank, all of us should do this, and that's thank those that serve and those who continue to serve. And with that, I want to thank my fellow commissioner for his service and continue to serve in our armed forces. And so with that, I'll go ahead and conclude today and just say my thoughts and prayers are with their families, and I want to thank you all for joining us today. Thank you.